Evan Patel never planned to spend the night at Marcus Voss's house. It was supposed to be a quick visit, just a normal after-school hangout. Maybe a few games, maybe some old movies. The two boys had known each other for years, and Evan had always felt comfortable at the Voss home. It sat on the edge of town, a large, oddly quiet building with long metal shutters on the windows that Evan once assumed were for storms. The house looked different from other homes, but Helena Voss, Marcus's mother, always acted like everything was normal. She cooked simple dinners, kept the place clean, and treated Evan with kind, calm manners. But that evening, something strange happened. Marcus's father suddenly showed up, pale and tense, pulling Marcus aside. Evan watched from the hallway as the two adults whispered urgently. He couldn't hear the words, but he could see their faces tight, serious, worried. Marcus glanced at Evan more than once with guilt in his eyes. Then everything happened too fast. "Evan, I'm really sorry," Marcus said, grabbing his backpack. "We have to go. My dad says it's urgent." "What? But how will I get home?" Evan asked. "We'll come back. I swear," Marcus shouted as he was pulled out the door. And just like that, the Voss family rushed away, leaving Evan standing in the quiet living room, unsure what to do. The car sped down the long driveway, red tail lights shrinking into the night. The house fell silent. Evan slowly walked to the front door and looked outside. Darkness spread across the countryside, broken only by the faint glow of distant town lights. No neighbors nearby. No cars passing. No sound except the cool wind brushing the tall grass around the property. "Great. Just great," he muttered. He tried calling Marcus, but the call failed. He tried texting him, but nothing delivered. The Voss home always had good service, so this felt unusual. He considered leaving, but walking several kilometers home in the dark? Not a chance. So he stayed. Hours passed. He explored the living room, then the kitchen, then the guest room, where he sometimes slept during sleepovers. Everything looked normal, but somehow too normal, like the house was pretending to be something it wasn't. Even the way the lights hummed made him uneasy. He sat on the couch, hugging a pillow, trying to distract himself with his phone. But the battery was low, and the no-signal icon stayed stuck on the screen. He tried to sleep, but he couldn't. Something pressed on his mind. Something he couldn't explain. It felt like the house was waiting for something. When the clock finally hit 11:47 p.m., the heavy front door opened. Evan jumped. Helena Voss stepped inside. Usually, she wore simple clothes, clean shirts, long skirts, soft cardigans. But tonight, she wore a dark, heavy coat, made of a material Evan had never seen. Lines of glowing blue traced down the sleeves like wires. Her hair looked slightly messy, and her face was pale with exhaustion. She held a case in one hand, a metallic container, shaped like a toolbox but glowing faintly along the edges. "Evan?" she said, surprised to see him standing. He swallowed nervously. Hi." Marcus left in a hurry. "I didn't have a ride." Helena closed the door behind her, locking it with 3 different mechanisms, each one clunking louder than the last. She stared at Evan for a long moment, as if assessing him, deciding something important. "Marcus shouldn't have left you," she said calmly. "But it can't be helped tonight." Evan blinked. "Why? What's going on?" Helena didn't answer right away. She set the metallic case on the hallway floor, pressed a small panel, and it opened with a deep hiss. Inside were strange devices, pads, screens, small drones, things Evan couldn't name. She handled them with practiced confidence. Evan's heart thumped faster. "Mrs. Voss, what is all that?" Helena turned toward him. Her eyes no longer looked like the eyes of someone's quiet mother. They were sharp, alert, almost commanding. "I didn't plan on telling you tonight," she said, "but we may not have the luxury of choice." Evan felt a cold shiver slip down his spine. Choice? About what? Helena exhaled slowly. Then, she said the words that Evan would never forget for the rest of his life. Evan, I am not just a mom tonight. She straightened. She pulled off the heavy coat and revealed a sleek black vest underneath, armored, reinforced, and glowing faint patterns along the chest. Tools hung from her belt. A strange symbol, 2 wings around a rising sun, glowed on her shoulder. I am Nightfall Command. Evan stepped back. Nightfall? What? Helena didn't stop. She pressed her hand against the wall. A soft chime echoed. And suddenly, the entire house changed. Metal shutters slid over the windows with sharp clanks. The lights dimmed and shifted to a low blue glow. Panels rose from the floor. Screens unfolded from hidden slots. The simple living room transformed into what looked like a command center. Maps hovered in holograms, showing parts of the city, the countryside, moving dots of red. Evan's jaw dropped. Your house is a bunker? A fallback defense node, Helena corrected. One of many hidden across the region. For what? Evan asked. Helena looked at the map, her face grim. For times like this. A loud warning beep filled the room. She walked to the largest screen, tapping through several layers of data. Symbols flashed. Atomic icons. Energy readings. Movement patterns. Evan couldn't understand any of it, but Helena seemed to translate it instantly. Protocol Nightfall has been activated, she said. What does that mean? Evan asked quietly. Helena looked at him with a seriousness he had never seen. It means the world is not as peaceful as you believe. The screen zoomed out, showing Earth from above. Then it zoomed in, showing several red blips entering the planet's atmosphere. Evan stared. Are those meteors? No, Helena said. They are Kerr probes. Kerr? Evan repeated. What's a Kai? Kai. Whatever that is? An alien species, Helena said plainly. Hostile, patient, testing our defenses tonight. Evan's breath froze in his throat. He looked around the transformed house. The strange armored vest she wore, the glowing devices, the holographic displays. Everything suddenly made a terrifying kind of sense. You're in the military? He asked, stunned. In a manner of speaking, Helena said. I serve in the Aegis Human Vanguard. We are a hidden line of defense activated only when Earth's primary systems are at risk. She adjusted her gloves and tightened her vest straps. Tonight is one of those nights. Evan felt dizzy. Why didn't you leave like Marcus and your husband? Helena paused. They are civilians. Their duty is to evacuate during nightfall. She raised her gaze. Mine is to stay. And me? Evan whispered. Helena studied him again. You are here by accident, she admitted. But now that you are here, you may be able to help. Help? Evan repeated. Me? I don't know anything. You don't have to know, Helena said. You only need to listen. And stay calm. She handed him a small, round device. Hold this. If it glows red, get behind the inner barrier. Do not ask questions. Do not hesitate. The device felt warm in his hand, like a tiny heartbeat. Another alarm blared. Helena rushed to the command table. The first probes have broken through the stratosphere. They are smaller than expected. Fast. They may attempt ground infiltration. Evan's voice shook. They're coming here? Helena didn't answer directly. Which, to Evan, was answer enough. He swallowed hard and forced his legs to stop shaking. The room felt colder now, like the air itself understood the danger creeping closer. Helena typed rapidly, speaking in low, focused commands to distant teams across glowing screens. Her calmness held the room together. She didn't panic. She didn't hesitate. She was no longer just Marcus's mom. She was someone else, someone powerful, trained, responsible for more than one household. Evan didn't fully understand what was happening, but he understood one thing. Tonight was not normal. Tonight was not safe. Tonight was something the world had tried to hide from kids like him. He looked at Helena, standing strong at the command table, eyes fixed on the sky map. For the first time in his life, Evan felt the true weight of danger, the sharp edge of fear, and something else. Something like awe. Helena Voss was fighting for humanity, and somehow, he was standing right in the middle of it. Evan stood frozen as Helena worked across the glowing control panels. Her fingers moved quickly, tapping commands, scanning readings, opening communication lines. The soft blue lights in the command room flickered each time a new alert appeared. Evan watched silently, feeling like he had stepped into a world he wasn't ready for. Helena spoke into a small headset. Command Node V, 17 online. Confirming nightfall status. Commanded node. Commanded node. Commanded node. A crackling voice responded from the speakers, but Evan couldn't understand the words. They spoke with urgency, like every second mattered. Helena nodded sharply. Copy. I'll monitor Sector Delta. No civilian units nearby except one miner. Evan realized he was the miner. He swallowed hard. After a moment, Helena turned toward him. It's a little more than frightening, he said quietly. Her expression softened for a moment, just long enough to show that she understood. Then she was serious again. Good. Fear means you're thinking. Just don't let it control you. Evan nodded, even though his hands shook a little. Helena gestured to a smaller console. Come here. Evan stepped closer. The console showed lines of numbers moving quickly and a simple map of the region. This system tracks energy signatures in the area, Helena explained. If the Kerr probes land nearby, we'll see the readings spike. What do you want me to do? Evan asked. You'll monitor that screen. If any red lines rise above this threshold, she pointed to a glowing yellow bar. You tell me immediately. That's it? Evan said. For now. He exhaled. Relieved. At least she wasn't asking him to fight aliens or something impossible. Watching a screen, he could handle that. Maybe. Helena returned to the main table. Command. This is V-17. I'm picking up distorted signatures in the upper atmosphere. Are we sure these are probes and not debris from last week's burst? The voice on the speaker answered sharply. Evan still couldn't understand the details, but he could tell things were serious. Helena frowned. Understood. I'll treat them as confirmed hostile. Really? Raider? Understood. Evan's heart pounded. She wasn't acting, he realized. This wasn't a drill. This was real. He sat in front of the console and tried to keep his eyes on the moving patterns. The lines dipped and rose. Most were blue or green. None had crossed the yellow bar yet. Mrs. Voss, he said quietly, why is your house this? Why do you have all this? Helena didn't look away from her work. Because Earth is not alone in the universe. And because I made a choice. What choice? To protect this planet, she said. Evan stared at her. But you're just Marcus's mom. Helena finally turned, raising an eyebrow. Mothers can be many things. Being a parent doesn't erase who you were before your children, or what the world needs you to be now. Were you a soldier? Evan asked. Helena hesitated for a moment. Not exactly. Not in a way most people understand. She pressed another button, and a hologram of a strange starship appeared above the table. Its shape was sharp and insect-like. When the Kyr first made contact, the world wasn't ready. Their probes destroyed satellites. Their ships tested our defenses. It took years to study their technology. And the Aegis human vanguard? Evan asked. Helena nodded. A group formed in secret. Scientists, strategists, engineers, and a few trained operatives. We learned how to hide from the Kier, how to predict their attacks, how to respond quietly so the world wouldn't panic. Evan imagined all the things happening behind the scenes, all the battles people never knew about. Humanity, fighting, in the shadows. That sounds huge, he said softly. It is, Helena replied. And tonight, the Kier are pushing harder than before. The house suddenly vibrated a deep rumble, like distant thunder. Evan jumped. What was that? Helena tapped a sensor panel. Atmospheric breach. One of the probes has entered the lower airspace. She looked at him. Stay calm. That's easy for you to say, Evan muttered. The map on his screen flashed. A small red dot appeared on the far edge. Mrs. Voss? He said nervously. Something's happening. Helena rushed over. Where? There. He pointed. Red dot. It jumped above the yellow line for a second. Helena leaned closer. That's a proximity alert. It means something brushed the scanning field. She tapped a button and switched the main hologram to a top-down map of the area. The probe is nearby. End quote. End quote. Evan's breath caught. Nearby like, how nearby? Within 2 kilometers. Evan froze. 2 kilometers? That was walking distance. Running distance. Too close. Helena's voice hardened. Command. Alert. Sector Delta has first contact. I repeat, first contact. The voice on the speaker answered, more urgent this time. Helena frowned deeper. Copy. No backup until dawn? Understood. Evan's heart sank. No backup? Why? Most units are dealing with larger breaches across the continent, Helena explained. We are alone for now. The house vibrated again. Harder. Evan felt it in his bones this time. Helena grabbed his shoulder. Listen to me. We are safe as long as we stay inside the node. The house has reinforced layers and energy dampeners. The Kerr will have trouble detecting us. What if they find us anyway? Evan asked. Then we move to level 2 defense, she said firmly. But we don't panic. Evan tried to breathe slowly. He tried to focus on the simple lines on the screen. But every noise outside made him jump. Every flicker of light made his chest tighten. Helena worked like a machine, calculating, monitoring, commanding. Evan watched her in awe. She wasn't just protecting Marcus. She wasn't just protecting her husband. She was protecting the entire region. For the next 10 minutes, nothing new appeared on the sensors. The red dot stayed in the distance. Maybe the probe had passed by. Maybe it was moving in another direction. Evan's shoulders relaxed slightly. Then the alarm screamed again. A giant red spike shot up the screen. Not near the yellow bar far above it. The console flashed angry warnings. The house lights flickered. Evan shouted, Mrs. Voss! It's here! It's right on top of us! Helena dashed to the main console. Impossible! It shouldn't be that fast. She studied the readings, and her expression darkened. This isn't a normal probe. What does that mean? Evan asked. It means they're testing new equipment, Helena said. Smarter, faster. The house shook this time violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Evan stumbled. Did it hit us? No, Helena said. It landed nearby. She tapped the screen. The hologram zoomed in on the forest behind the house. A glowing object pulsed between the trees, casting harsh blue light. It's searching, Helena whispered. For what? For weaknesses. Evan's mouth went dry. Not unless we draw attention, Helena said. She moved quickly to another panel. I'm activating deep dampening mode. It will lower the house's energy signature. The lights dimmed to a dark blue. The hum of the house grew softer. Evan felt like he was hiding underwater. What now? he asked. Now we wait, Helena said quietly. And we watch. Minutes passed slow, tense, cold minutes. The glowing object in the hologram drifted slowly around the forest, scanning, pulsing, hovering like a metallic predator sniffing for prey. Helena stayed calm, but Evan saw her fingers tremble slightly when she thought he wasn't looking. At last, the probe began drifting away, back into the deeper forest. Evan let out a shaky breath. It's leaving. For now, Helena said, but it will come back. Evan felt a chill run down his spine. How do you know? Helena looked him in the eye. Because I've fought them before. Evan stared at her, at the calm strength in her face, the quiet determination in her eyes. She wasn't afraid for herself. She was afraid of what would happen if she failed. She turned back to the console. We have work to do. What kind of work? Evan asked. Preparing, she said. The Cure probe is scanning for something, and the readings suggest it is not alone. Evan felt his heart sink. More are coming? Yes. And we're alone here? Helena nodded slowly. For now. Evan swallowed. He felt fear, yes, but he also felt a strange spark rising inside him, an urge to help, to do something, even if he didn't know what. Tell me what to do, he said. Helena gave him a brief, approving nod. Good. You'll assist me with the sensor grid. And you need to stay alert. For what? Evan asked. Helena took a deep breath. For when things get worse. Because in the quiet forest outside, the first probe wasn't the only thing moving. The night had just begun. Evan tried to keep his breathing steady. But each passing minute made the room feel smaller, tighter, heavier. The glowing lines on the sensor map rose and fell like waves. But the red signature, the Cure probe, stayed stubbornly close in the forest. Helena worked silently beside him. She tapped buttons, checked data streams, and adjusted the house's defenses. Her calmness was almost unnatural, like she had practiced this 1,000 times. But Evan saw the tension in her jaw and the way her shoulders stiffened each time the hologram flickered. Mrs. Voss, Evan said softly, is it going to attack? Helena didn't look up from her console. Not yet. The probe is studying us. It's gathering information. Information for what? He asked. For a larger strike, Helena replied. These probes don't attack alone. They test weaknesses, so the bigger units know where to hit later. Evan's stomach twisted. So, this is only the beginning? Yes, she said. Evan felt faint. If this was the smallest, then what were the larger ones like? He didn't want to imagine it. Another loud alarm echoed through the command room. Helena leaned forward. Proximity scan updated. Cure probe is moving again. Evan looked at his smaller screen. The red dot pulsed brighter, then shifted positions rapidly. It's coming around the house! Helena pressed a button, and the outside cameras activated. The large screen showed the dark forest beyond the metal shutters. At first, it looked empty, just trees moving in the wind. Then something glowed between the branches. A sphere about the size of a small car floated just above the ground. Its surface was smooth and metallic, covered in blue cracks of energy that pulsed slowly. It scanned the area with thin beams of light that shifted like searching eyes. Evan whispered, "It's right there." "Yes," Helena said. Too close. The probe drifted toward the house. It hummed with a deep vibration that rattled the shutters. The sound reminded Evan of an engine and an animal growl mixed together. "Why doesn't it leave?" Evan whispered, as if the probe could hear him. "Because it senses something unusual," Helena said. "The house's defense barriers are strong, but they leave a faint energy footprint. The probe is confused." The probe hovered, scanning slower now, as if sniffing the air. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoed outside a tree branch, snapping under pressure. Evan flinched. What was that? Another probe, Helena said, her voice tight. We have at least 2 now. Evan stared at the screen. Shadows moved behind the first probe. A second sphere slid into view, smaller but faster. Its glowing lines flickered like nervous lightning. That's too many. Helena didn't respond. She typed rapidly, switching between different systems. Command. This is V-17. Multiple probes confirmed. Local defenses may be overwhelmed. The speaker crackled. Evan still couldn't understand the exact words, but the tone was clear. No help was coming. Helena set her jaw. Understood. We'll maintain position. The ground outside shook. Evan grabbed the table for support. What was that? Landing pod, Helena said. Something bigger is arriving. Bigger? Evan said, voice cracking. Helena tapped the side console, showing another camera view. A large metallic shape had crashed into the clearing behind the house, flattening trees in a wide circle. The pod was jagged and sharp, like a giant insect shell made of steel. The shell opened with a hiss. Evan felt his blood run cold. Is that alive? No, Helena said. But whatever is inside, it is. I'm Mazar. 8. I'm Mazar. Axe. Knower. I'm Mazar. I'm Mazar. I'm Mazar. I'm Mazar. I'm Mazar. The pod's armor peeled apart, revealing a tall, mechanical unit. It was shaped like a humanoid figure, but with elongated limbs and 3 glowing lenses instead of a face. It stood up slowly, stretching like a waking creature. Evan stepped back from the screen. What is that thing? A Kier infiltration unit, Helena said. Designed to move quietly, scan structures, and report back. The unit turned its head toward the house, its glowing lenses focused, and it released a low humming sound. Evan whispered, It knows we're here. Helena shook her head. Not exactly. It senses an anomaly. But the deep dampening field hides our exact location. As if angered, the infiltration unit raised its arm. 3 small drones unfolded from its back and scattered across the forest, scanning the terrain like hungry birds. Evan's breath came faster. Mrs. Voss, I don't think your house can hide forever. Mrs. Voss, I don't think your house can hide forever. I don't think your house can hide. I don't think your house can hide forever. I don't think your house can hide. I don't think your house can hide forever. That's why we prepare, Helena said. The lights dimmed again as Helena activated something deeper within the house. A low hum filled the air, softer but heavier, like the sound came from the ground beneath them. What's that? Evan asked. The inner barrier, Helena said. If the Kier detect us, this will protect the core of the house. The core? The command room, Helena said. Where we're standing. Evan felt slightly safer, but only slightly. The screen flashed again. The infiltration unit fired a beam of light toward the tree line. The beam wasn't damaging, it was a scanning blast. But it caused the entire forest to glow for a moment, illuminating everything in pale blue. Evan gasped. Did it just scan the whole forest? Yes, Helena said. It's trying to find us. The drones circled, then halted mid-air. All 3 turned toward the house. Evan's chest tightened. They found something. Helena checked the readings. The dampening field's outer layer is weakening. They're pushing energy spikes into the air to destabilize it. Destabilize. Can we stop them? Evan asked. Yes, Helena said, but it will require a distraction. Evan frowned. Like what? Before she answered, the infiltration unit fired another scanning beam, stronger this time. The ground shook with the impact. Helena turned to Evan. I need you to run something outside. Evan stared at her. Outside? You mean, out there? With them? Helena nodded. The outer barrier generator is overheating. If we don't redirect the energy manually, the entire defense grid will collapse. Can't you do it? Evan asked, voice trembling. I must stay here and maintain the node, she said firmly. The generator is 20 meters from the back door. You only need to push a small relay into place. 30 seconds. At most. 30 seconds with aliens scanning everything? I'll distract them, Helena said. The probe will focus on energy spikes. I can create one on the opposite side of the house. Evan's mouth went dry. They could see me. They won't if you move fast and stay low, Helena said. A loud boom echoed outside. One of the probes had struck the ground, sending dust into the air. Evan shook. I'm not trained for this. And you won't be alone, Helena said. She reached into the metallic case and pulled out a small device shaped like a bracelet. She handed it to him. Wear this. Evan slipped it onto his wrist. The device emitted a faint, shield-like shimmer around his body. It won't stop a direct hit, Helena said, but it will bend light enough to blur your shape. So, I'll look fuzzy? Yes, harder to track. Evan took several deep breaths, trying to steady his shaking hands. Helena placed a firm hand on his shoulder. Evan, you don't have to do this. I can send an automated drone, but it will take longer, and we might lose the barrier. Evan looked at the screens. The infiltration unit was getting closer. The probes circled. The drones scanned faster. The house wouldn't last long. He swallowed hard. I'll do it. Helena gave a quick, approving nod. Good. Follow me. They moved to the back of the house, where a thick metal door blocked the exit. Once you're outside, she said, head straight to the generator. It's the large cylinder with blue rings. Push the relay on its side. It will snap into place. Evan nodded shakily. Then I run back? As fast as you can. Helena opened the door. Cold night air rushed in. Evan stepped into the darkness. The forest was alive with strange blue light from the scanning drones. The ground vibrated from the infiltration unit's steps. He crouched low and ran. Every sound, every crack of a branch, every hum from a drone felt like a threat. He reached the generator. It hummed loudly, leaking sparks. He spotted the relay, a small metal plate half disconnected. He grabbed it. Come on, he whispered. He pushed. The relay resisted. He pushed harder. It snapped into place. A loud chime echoed. Then, a drone turned toward him. Its glowing eye focused. It saw him. Run! Helena's voice shouted from the headset. Evan sprinted toward the house as the drone fired a beam of blue energy behind him. Scorching the ground. The trees lit up. The probe screamed. The infiltration unit turned. Everything converged on him. But he reached the door. Helena slammed it shut behind him. The defense grid roared back to life. And the forest outside exploded with blue light as the Kier forces struck the reinforced barrier. Evan collapsed to the floor, shaking, gasping. Helena knelt beside him, quickly checking his wrist device. You did it. The grid is stable. Evan stared at the screens, breath uneven. They're not done. Are they? No, Helena said, looking at the growing cluster of red signatures. They're preparing the real attack. The night was far from over. The command room felt colder than before, as if the house itself understood the danger closing in. The screens showed a forest crawling with blue lights, drones scanning, probes hovering, the tall infiltration unit pacing like a metallic predator. Red dots multiplied on the map, one after another. Evan sat on the floor, still catching his breath after his desperate run. His chest hurt. His legs trembled. His mind replayed the moment the drone spotted him. The beam of energy burning the ground behind him. The sound of Helena shouting for him to run. But the house was alive again. The defense grid held firm. For now, Helena stood above him, calm but focused. Sweat ran down her forehead, and her voice carried a tension she tried to hide. "Evan," she said softly, "I know you're exhausted, but the worst is still ahead." Evan forced himself to sit up. How can it get worse?" On the main screen, a massive red icon appeared, much larger than the probes or even the infiltration unit. Helena tapped the panel. The hologram zoomed in. A new object was falling from the sky. Huge, shaped like a jagged spear. "A Kyr assault carrier," Helena said. "A small one, but still dangerous." Evan stared. "Small?" "Yes," she said. "This is only the size they use for testing. The real ones are the size of cities." Evan felt his stomach twist. "If this is a test, what happens if they win tonight?" Helena didn't answer for a moment. Then she said quietly, "If this node falls, our entire region becomes blind to their approach. They'll slip past our sensors. They'll strike deeper into the continent. And humanity will not be ready." Evan swallowed. His fear didn't disappear, but it twisted into something else. Something stubborn. Something human. "What do we do?" he asked. "We stand," Helena said simply. "We fight. Even if we're only 2 people in a house. Evan looked at her. She wasn't a soldier in armor or a superhero from a movie. She was Marcus's mom. A scientist. Someone who cooked dinner and reminded kids about homework. Yet she stood like someone holding the line for all of Earth. Evan nodded. "Tell me what to do." Helena gave him a brief, grateful look. "Good. We have one chance. We must get a high-powered data packet to the Aegis fleet." "A data packet?" Evan asked. "Yes. You helped gather the sensor readings. Your relay outside powered the grid long enough for the system to analyze Kyr patterns." She pointed to a blinking icon. "Those patterns can predict the Kyr carrier's landing site. If we send the data to the fleet, they can strike it before it unloads more units." "And if we don't?" Evan asked. Helena's voice hardened. "The carrier will release a full squad of infiltration units. This house will not survive that." Evan's breath caught. "Okay, so how do we send it?" She pressed a button, and a portable metal pack rose from a compartment in the table. It was heavy-looking, rectangular, with blinking blue lights. "This is a comm relay pack," she said. "It must be taken to the ridge behind the house." She pointed at the hologram. "It's the highest point in the area, strong enough to pierce the jamming field." Evan blinked. "Taken? You mean I have to carry it? Outside? Again?" "Yes," Helena said. "But what about you?" he asked. "I will stay here," she said. "If the Kyr breach the barrier, they'll come for this room. I must hold them off as long as possible." Evan stared at her, stunned. "Alone?" Helena nodded with quiet certainty. "I can manage them longer than you can. My job is to keep them busy. Your job is to reach the ridge." "But—" Helena knelt down so they were eye to eye. "Evan, listen. Tonight, you've already done more than I expected of any child. You've shown courage. You've stayed calm. You've acted with instinct and strength." "I was terrified," Evan whispered. "Courage is doing what you must, even when you're terrified," Helena said. Evan felt heat rise in his face. "What if I fail?" Helena placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then, humanity loses a chance. But I believe you won't fail." The house shook violently. An explosion outside rattled the walls. Dust fell from the ceiling. Helena looked at the screen. "The infiltration unit is attacking the barrier again. I must reinforce the internal grids. Evan, take the pack." He grabbed the metal container. It was heavier than he expected. He strapped it across his back. Helena guided him to the back door. "You must reach the ridge," she said. "When you get there, open the pack. Press the blue switch. The system will transmit automatically. Do not stop. Do not look back." Evan nodded. His heart beat hard. His legs shook, but his eyes were steady. Helena opened the door. Cold wind rushed in. The forest glowed blue with scanning lights. Drones moved through the branches, like fast, metallic insects. "Go," Helena said. Evan ran. The forest felt alive with danger. Branches snapped under his feet. The pack thumped heavily against his back. Every few seconds, the night lit up with a blue scanning flash. He ducked behind a tree as a drone flew overhead, humming like an angry wasp. "Don't stop. Don't look back. Just run." He repeated Helena's words like a mantra. Another explosion echoed behind him. He didn't know if it hit the house or the barrier, but he kept running. The ridge was close now, a sloping hill rising above the forest. But as he climbed, the ground shook. He turned his head. A Kier infiltration unit was striding toward him through the trees. Its glowing lenses locked on his position. Its long metal arms crackled with energy. Evan gasped and ran faster. The ridge was right there, just a few more meters. The unit raised its arm. A bright beam fired. The ground beside Evan exploded, sending dirt into the air. He stumbled, but didn't fall. He reached the top. He dropped to his knees and opened the pack. Inside was a glowing communication device with 4 buttons. Only one was blue. He slapped it. The device hummed, growing brighter until a column of pure white light shot into the sky, piercing through the dark clouds. For a moment, everything felt still. Then the sky answered. A deep rumble echoed from above. Light streaked across the heavens. The Aegis fleet had received the signal. A sharp beam of energy fired from orbit, striking the falling Kier carrier in the distance. The explosion lit the sky, blue and white. Evan shielded his eyes. The carrier shattered into pieces. The drones froze and fell. The infiltration unit stopped, its glowing lenses flickering. Then, with a metallic groan, it collapsed to the forest floor, defeated. Evan gasped, tears rising in his eyes. He did it. He actually did it. He turned toward the house. Smoke drifted from the forest, but the building still stood. He ran back as fast as he could. Helena stood at the entrance, leaning on the doorframe, exhausted but alive. Her armor was scratched. Her face was pale. But she smiled when she saw him. "You sent it," she said softly. "Yes," Evan said, breathing hard. "The carrier. It's gone." "Yer," Helena nodded. "Then we survived the night." She placed a hand on his shoulder again, gentle, proud. "You saved countless lives tonight, Evan," she said. "Remember that." Evan looked at her, really looked at her. Not just Marcus's mother. Not just a secret defender of Earth, but a leader, a protector, a warrior, a human. And something sparked inside him, something new, something bright. "Mrs. Voss," he said. "When I grow up, I want to join Aegis." Helena smiled warmly. "Well," she said, "after what you did tonight, I think they'll be happy to have you." Together, they looked at the rising sun breaking over the ridge. Humanity had been tested, and humanity had stood strong,